Hey guys, it's Kusi.
Yo, what's up? What's going on? Yo, what's going on?
Welcome back to the 4th episode in our attempt to right the wrong things right, as we not only try to make Grief Torch on healer a thing, but also waste even more bullions before we figured out that there's apparently a cap
Stop the cap!
on them for 12 coins in total. In this discipline, 0 to hero, I really need to get going if I want to finish the series before the end of the season edition. In the last episode, we started to grind towards the first big vault by completing the first +8 of the series, which compared to the Ulderman run that started that episode, went so much smoother. We also been stacking a lot of aspect crests, which will come to use later today, so buckle up, as in this episode, the grind towards the vault continues. We want at least 2 myth track options in there, which means, besides trying to do as many 7s as possible for gear itself, we need to lie ourselves into more +8 keys. To top this video off, as this is the second part of the second week, we will ultimately prep everything for the super push of next week's rotation, as we will craft 2 items, make an arguably questionable decision in the vault, and increase our item level to which I am confident of being able to heal +10 soon. Oh yeah, and of course we went to LFR and sniped some item away from underguild losers, as it's apparently tradition to do so. So if that sounds like an episode, you want to join twitch.tv/CozySlayer, leave a follow, and make sure you won't miss any further suffering out there, then make sure to, well, do that. And then also like the video, while also taking a moment to consider to subscribe, as we are on the road to 10k subs to the end of the year and you are making the difference. And without any further ado, make sure to grab a drink, get comfy, and enjoy the 4th episode, as this is our last chance to prep the final push. Ruff, ruff, ruff. Alright, so after seeing how hell and heaven could be like in form of an Ulderman key, and after I was absolutely able to hold my own in that disgusting golem pack, I was a lot more confident in myself as a healer, which is the reason we continue to grind towards our vault today. My main goal, in fact, was to do every dungeon on a +7 or 8, as this means we could get some decent score from it, as well as possible changes at hero loot and aspect crest. I also get some experience on what's potentially to come on next week's rotation, but first, I got to show you something.
Okay.
Do you remember those 3 items I pulled from those Mythic Plus chests in the last video, where I got 3 weapons and even one of them twice?
Yes.
Yeah, so I bought 5 more.
For what? Why?
Your boy is grinding out here, fam. So let's open those, because you will absolutely not believe what happened next.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
So let me get this straight. I opened 8 chests, got the same 2 items, 3 times and 5 times. Surely this is a bug, right? So I wrote a ticket. And guess what? It works as intended. Come on, bruh. Don't get me wrong. I am well aware that the people you talk to via tickets are just some call center guys that have no direct business with Blizzard, other than being appointed to their call center. But boy, is this frustrating when things like these happen that are clearly not intended, and the answer you receive is, sorry for the 10 hours of Lightstone grind, but we can't do shit. But hey, thank you for playing the game and the monthly fee, we appreciate it. Hey, you wanna buy a store mod instead? Okay, the last part was not in there, but everything else is pretty much what you get told. Get your shit together, Blizzard, as this is pathetic, even if this is not as much of a big deal at this point of my character progression. Alright, enough ranting, let's do keys.
Okay, let's go.
Knockout 7 was first on the list as a warm-up key, and even though we still got fortified and attending going this week, my mind was already on that upcoming tyrannical week. So disregarding that some trash is hurting, my focus was to play the bosses to perfection. And while the first boss is just me using the ballista as well as healing that one damn spell that Drake does, the second boss is where it's at. So many mechanics need to be played here by me. Not only do we need to stack them balls, Not only do we need to stack them balls, we also need to purge the energy surge from the boss ASAP, as that thing will slap the tank sideways. And then there's also the surge of power to heal up ASAP, and the big ass group-wide damage from the electrical storm. Besides standing in melee, as tank, we pretty much have to play every mechanic here. Ain't that lovely? Yet we did have a solid damage, hence why we only had 1 electrical storm phase in which I had PI and Lust to help me heal up. So this one went a bit underwhelming. Easy key in the end, even got a ring upgrade, which I will take gladly, and so we move on to the next key. Keep in mind, I tried to get into +8s by queuing, but not everybody trusted in the pack lord, so we have to be happy with this +7 Bracken height. Bracken is a key I'm honestly a lot more annoyed by on Fortified, as the random outgoing damage by trash is just really annoying. Yet I would lie if I'm not worried about at least the first boss to deal with. Though I feel so far that me not playing the Gash Frenzy proper is more of a timing thing. But I know why you are here. So let's quickly step into the first +8 of this episode. But first, another ring. Unfortunately, the stats aren't too crisp, but I couldn't trade it regardless, so I'll take it. So what I meant by that is, next up is the key I'm really dreading about when thinking about a possible plus 10. Boss 2 and 3 in here are wild to say the least, and even though the first boss also has some mad AoE spell going, at least it's easily manageable without relying on others using self-defensive. But with that being said, I will quickly show you the Kajin fight as it's easily the most intense. And we will come back to this dungeon a bit later as I got something else to show you. Oh yeah, also watch me getting carried in the last boss as I got completely both overwhelmed and shafted during the run. Nasty swirlies paired with entangling just really cooked me there. Second plus 8 done of the week, and we achieved KSM alongside it. 2k rating means we do get a token to pick a tier set of our choosing, and since most of my tier sets are in fact still veteran, a hero piece will make a decent upgrade. I chose the headpiece, a decision that will come to haunt me very soon. Right after that one, we seriously instantly got invited into another plus 8, which was AAA this time. So, before we do that, I wonder if you already saw what this dude has to tell you. Do I really need to say this? Okay. Ohio Onichan, please consider subscribing to this channel as... Bro, what the hell is this crap? Look man, we are on the road to 10k subscribers on this channel in the year of 2024, so if you watch this far, consider smashing the like button, as kids say these days, and also power pack the subscribe button, as this really helps this hopeless WoW enjoyer to reach heights to tell my mother I told you so. Also, if you manage to get to that goal by the end of the year, we will have a 24-hour stream alongside an unpixelated facecam and some kinky stuff. That's what I'm talking about! Thank you for giving me your trust. Now back to the video. With the setup we had, the trash in here was child's play. Double DH silence and the boomkin silence. It's insane how different these plus 8 keys are compared to the plus 4 or 5. Ruby Life Pool however was a lot more spicy than this. Supposedly another key I'm very worried about to do on Tyrannical, as specifically the first boss is slapping really hard, and almost none of it is avoidable. The Frost Overload hurts like hell, granted we started the entire fight with 1 DPS down while having an Orc Evoker. So surely this fight would have been a lot more enjoyable when the other guy was around. He died due to the last charge of the miniboss though, and I guess CR was not an option today. Though I will be happy that those elementals won't be as much of a struggle as a fall fight. Their AoE goes crazy, and I feel like this one was even bugged. On the very last pack however, I squeezed up so good. Holy hell that stuff hurts, and I really need to make sure to always single apply atonement to have my mindbender and both radiance up during the big AoE cast. Yet because your boy pulled through, we two-chested this puppy to give ourselves a second vault slot of possibly some giga huge insane item later on. Who am I kidding? It's going to be something shitty, I can sense it. But we ain't done. I need one more key done on a solid level just for score itself, and I tried to get into those keys throughout the entire stream, and finally we did achieve Azure 6, and boy is this a boring key on Fortified. Is what I would say if we didn't pull the arguably roughest pack in the dungeon. I never understood that pull with pucks. Seems slightly stressful, but there we go. And all of that just because of this. But yeah, remember when I told you the headpiece was a mistake? Look what we got, baby. Hero helmet. So cool. With this being the end of the stream and also the last dungeon of the week, we end the second out of 3 weeks with an item level of 505 and the score of 2171. So this means it's vault time. We got 2 rings on myth, both super ass. Seems like I still haven't recovered from the luck with the Pharaoh Druid last season. If you know, you know. But before making a dumb decision, I didn't pick an item from here yet, because I knew I will be doing more dungeons. Yet first I did LFR in hopes of more bullion. Turns out, every character is capped at 12. I didn't see any blue post confirmation about this, but I didn't get any bullions for 2 weeks, so it makes sense. Glad I wasted so many of them on trinkets I don't use. Speaking of trinkets, I did get this bad boy. Rolled a straight 100 for that. Probably the first time this season, and even though the item level is a bit lower than my little dead bird trinket, the 700 tails it gives are not too bad. So, new week, new affix, new fears. Let's step into the first key. Azure Vault 6. Wait, only 6?
What is this?
Okay, I didn't get invited to 8 or 7, so leave me alone.
Oh, boo-hoo!
I'm here to farm crest anyways to get the feel for tyrannical bosses.
Anyway.
So what better than to start with a dungeon I had the most insane struggles with when I started the series. There are also new affixes to talk about, so besides tyrannical, that will punish me this week surely, there's also incorporeal. This thing will spawn up to 2 ghosts that will attempt to cast a 50% damage or healing reduction on the party, and the easiest way to get rid of them is to put a long duration CC on them. We are talking sheep, trap, incap, mind control or shackle, which are 2 specific spells that priest got access to. So you know the drill. I didn't skill them because I forgot to check what affixes are up this week. With that, I had to rely on my party. not a good start. But we got into the first boss even though we had 3 trees up on the first stomp, which prompted me to panic smash all the defensive cooldowns I had. Not perfect by all means, but it was enough to get it done. While Azure Blade was a bit more of a stressful sight, mainly because one of our DPS died, which meant one less guy to use CC on ads that I can CC yet. But it is only a 6, so we are in a good spot to 3-chest this bad boy while stepping into the pit with the last boss with 3 minutes remaining. Now on this one I still need training. I feel like I'm due to also fully commit on the hardened shard whenever it's up, but all the targets changing just really messes me up. So maybe I will just stay on the boss itself to get my entire healing rotation through. For my own benefit, I also try to keep people buffed with atonement before the boss drops to 75, 50 or 25%, so I can use radiance during the shard window. Sometimes it gets really tough to get everybody up before the next ability is used. Not a fan of this boss by all means. At this point I'm looking to do 2 more keys for my prep arc in order to get 24 more aspect crests to be able to obtain 2 crafted items. So I applied, and eventually got taken into a +8 Olderman. This is perfect as Olderman is also a quite messy dungeon if the healer can't hold his own. Especially the last boss seems to be all over the place. But before we can deal with Deus, we do have 2 specific bosses to talk about. First is Bromek. Now in theory this boss is quite easy. Kill the ads, dodge the big blue circle and tunnel down the totem to survive. As a healer, not so much. Once the totem spawns, you better make sure to prepare for the worst. This means our Shadow Fiend is only, and I mean only, for the totem. It helps to burst it down a little bit and ensures safety for the party. Luckily, the ad management was so good while these DPS also meant business, so the totem damage window couldn't even get its full effect. Obviously we started with Bromek, and because nobody ever was scared of 3 confused midgets, we just tossed them around until we were able to go to Talendress.
That's gotta be racist. There's no way.
Luckily, as a healer, we don't have to play the mechanic on this boss, which means we only focus on healing. And while the stomp hurts like hell, the bleed is the real issue. For the mentioned stomp, having everybody as topped as possible is the name of the game, but always keep an eye on the person with the earthen shard. Use an external every time you can on those, as the bleed and the stomp do indeed overlap. I was able to hold my own for a while, even with mind controlling one of the incorporeals, until I didn't have any cooldowns left for myself and dropped dead towards the end. Rough. And while I know I'm repeating myself here, the last boss, man, it's just different. The amount of movement paired with the insane amount of damage coming in with the knockback, as well as it being a knockback, meaning you lose time casting, and then the range to some gamers and the spell, bro, that's just too much going on, while DPS just bunny hop their way through this fight, not even being bothered to potentially remove their dot from themselves if they can. Cause yes, some of them can, but hey, no worries, the big pack master got you back, and even though we killed the boss with no one dying, I am so not looking forward to this thing on +10. With this one done, we only need 1 more key to be able to craft ourselves 2 items. That's why I applied to arguably the one I'm worried the most for, Pulse 7. And while I figured out a way for myself to deal with the power overload on myself, pretty much just use penance on me when I have to run away, I knew the difficult parts are yet to come. So we jump ahead to the frog. Boy howdy, this one hits different on Tyrannical. Yet this party carried this pull. Using slows, using CC to manage the frogs, like what? Which meant I didn't even need to pump as much. Lucky me, which now leads us to my proudest fight yet. Those of you that been watching the Fortified +8 Older run from last episode know about me pumping. But this boss is so much different. Obviously it takes a lot longer and it's so much more consistent, so without any further ado, I'ma loop that thing up and enjoy. Almost 300k overall, and I'm confident that if I play like that on the +10, it's doable. And with finishing this key, we now make the proper final upgrades before our hunt for the portals will begin. So, I did get a new ring from that horse key, which is another haste verse, pretty solid. This means now I have to make a decision, or 3 to be specific. First, we took the shoulders from the vault, even though they aren't myth track. The reasoning for that is that those are increased to main stat, which is really what I need, while the rings don't provide the stats I need. Furthermore, I got myself the lariat crafted alongside a main stat socket that for the first time ever in this expansion I actually got on rank 3. And the third decision was between the belt and boots, as both of them were veteran. I took the belt, which means we are officially item level 510. Let the hunt begin.